Just last week, Florida legislature passed Senate Bill 2-A. This bill makes changes to the current insurance laws here in Florida, supposedly to help curb or alleviate these higher insurance premiums down the road. Nowhere did I find anyone say that these changes are going to be immediate or overnight. This has nothing to do with fixing the current problem, and in my opinion, like I've said before, it's going to get worse. We're already seeing it. I've already witnessed it firsthand. Other subscribers and viewers on this channel have seen it. So it's happening, and depending on what the property is in Florida, it's really going to dictate what kind of insurance the house is even going to be eligible for. If you haven't, make sure and watch the other video I did the other day where I talk about issues and problems I'm having with a particular property right now. The property is a little bit older, on the water, needs a roof, and it is just becoming a nightmare trying to even find a company that will write a policy. So this video, we're just going to talk about the new changes and see how and what they are and how they're going to hopefully affect the insurance premiums down the road. Last week, Florida lawmakers held a special session and passed a 105-page bill aimed at stabilizing the state's troubled property insurance system. The bill, SB 2-A, deals with numerous issues including lawsuits, the state-backed Citizens Property Insurance Corporation, and critical reinsurance coverage. This is from the Tampa Bay Times newspaper. The Florida legislature passed sweeping changes to the state's property insurance laws on Wednesday. Now it's time for Florida homeowners to wait and hope that premiums go down. That's just a great sentence. This week's legislation is meant to stabilize the state's imploding property insurance market. It offers a $1 billion taxpayer-funded aid program for struggling insurers and sharply limits the incentives to sue those companies. Okay, read that one more time. It offers a $1 billion taxpayer-funded aid program. One thing it won't do, at least anytime soon, is lower rates for Floridians who are paying the highest homeowners insurance premiums in the nation. Wow. And those with state-backed Citizens Property Insurance policies will likely end up paying more than they do today. What this bill signifies to me is hope, said Republican Tom Leach. Hope and a plan to make sure that we as the state of Florida are doing everything we possibly can to repair a broken property insurance market. Oh, this is hilarious. Republican Patricia Williams, a Democrat from Pompano Beach, said, "Hope don't pay your bill." Amen. I mean, that's exactly the truth. Each chamber passed legislation during a 48-hour blitz less than a week after the bill was introduced. Public testimony in some committees was limited to a minute. On Wednesday, Republican leaders limited Democrats' total debate to 80 minutes. The result was never in doubt. On Tuesday, the Senate approved the bill with a 27-13 vote, largely along party lines. The House on Wednesday voted 84-33. This article comes from PolitiFact, which is an awesome website. If you've never checked it out, I highly suggest you do. And this is Rita Harris. She is a state representative from Orlando, a Democrat, and she says Florida Senate Bill 2A does not provide immediate relief to homeowners dealing with high property insurance rates and will force some constituents to pay up to 20% more. Well, what do you think? Is she correct? Absolutely, in my opinion. This is a quote from Ron DeSantis here in early December where he says Florida property insurance overhaul doesn't promise immediate relief. So everyone's saying the same thing. This is not going to be a short-term fix. These laws are to drive consumers back into the private homeowners insurance market. The law will not allow homeowners to renew their coverage with Citizens if they receive an offer from a private insurer that is only 20% more expensive. That just doesn't make any sense. Mark, a spokesman for the Nonpartisan Insurance Information Institute, said the Florida law is not intended to lower premiums for homeowners immediately, but rather to lay the groundwork for a stable market. He goes on to say, "We do not expect to see immediate relief for consumers, but the eventual goal is to moderate premium increases. Most likely, Floridians are going to see higher costs of insurance next year because of existing issues in the market, including outstanding lawsuits against insurers." When signing the bill into law, Governor Ron DeSantis indicated the bill will not solve issues in the property market overnight. All right, we all know that now. This is not a fix-it-fast, issue. So let's talk about what happens if you have Citizens insurance. And this is once again from the Miami Herald. But hundreds of thousands of homeowners covered by state-run Citizens property insurance are almost guaranteed to end up paying more. Everyone with a Citizens policy would have to buy flood insurance, some as soon as April, and those with Citizens would not be able to renew their coverage if they receive policy offers from private insurers that are within 20% of the cost of Citizens premiums. That's just not good. So if you have Citizens, you're definitely going to be paying more. And if you're in a flood zone, you've already have your flood insurance. But if you're not in a flood zone, luckily, it's not that expensive, thank goodness. But you're going to be required to have it now with this new law. When Democratic State Representative Harris was asked about the 20% figure she mentioned, she cited provisions in the bill centered on the depopulation of the state-run insurer, Citizens Property Insurance Corporation. Florida lawmakers created Citizens in 2002 as an insurer of last resort, a backstop when residents can't find coverage in the private market. However, against a backdrop of devastating hurricanes, aggressive litigation, and insurers leaving Florida, the state-run insurer is now a major competitor in the market. And there are a lot of buyers that are forced basically to go and use Citizens. And Citizens is not the best policy out there for sure. In 2019, when DeSantis took office, Citizens had 425,000 policies. Enrollment in Citizens topped 1 million in 2022, and Citizens is now Florida's largest property insurer. The law also mandates homeowners purchase flood insurance as a condition of eligibility for Citizens coverage. That requirement alone will make keeping such policies costlier. Exactly. If you have Citizens, it's going to cost you money. Period. The bill has many provisions that allow for further increases in consumer premiums, said Zach Taylor, a professor at Delft University of Technology in the Netherlands who studies climate risk and insurance sector. Policyholders outside of Citizens will not be impacted by the flood insurance mandate. Asked about Harris's claim, the Governor Press Secretary Brian Griffin said the legislation will encourage competition among insurers, which will ultimately lower rates for Florida homeowners, but not anytime soon. Patricia Bourne, a professor at the Florida State University Risk Management Program, said the state's insurance reform won't bring immediate rate reductions, but it aims to address market conditions that drive those rates. Let's wrap up by talking about how the new bill is going to limit lawsuits. One of the few things lawmakers agreed on last week was that homeowners insurance market is in a crisis that has been building for years. 6 companies have gone out of business this year. I thought it was 4, I didn't realize it was 6. Republican's solution is largely a giveaway to the insurance industry, which has complained for years that it has been sued too often. The state does have a disproportionate number of lawsuits for the number of claims. In 2019, the state accounted for 16% of the nation's homeowners claims, but 76% of the nation's litigated homeowner claims. Why there are so many lawsuits is hotly in dispute, with Republicans this week blaming fraudulent trial lawyers and Democrats blaming insurance companies holding up claims. State regulators won't have any detailed data from insurers on litigated claims until March at the earliest. But the legislation passed Wednesday would largely eliminate the requirements that property insurers pay the attorney fees of policyholders who win lawsuits over claims. It would end the practice of assignment of benefits in which policyholders sign over their benefits to contractors who seek payment from insurers. And it would allow insurers to offer policies that require the policyholder to engage in mandatory binding arbitration in lieu of a lawsuit. Insurance companies have also cited the high cost of reinsurance. And that's the insurance that insurers buy to pay off claims during storms for the struggles. In response, lawmakers created a $1 billion taxpayer-funded program to offer reinsurance. The legislation has no guarantees that companies will lower homeowners' rates, and Republicans had no analysis demonstrating that lower rates would be the result. But House Speaker Paul Renner, a Republican from Palm Coast, said the insurance market is so dire that the priority was keeping insurance companies from going out of business. Okay, that'll about do it for this video. As always, I appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate it. If you have any questions, leave them below. Have a great day, and thanks.